And you're very welcome back to season 4 of the League of Ireland Women's podcast here on finalwhistle.ie. Season 4, I'm feeling as old as the podcast, Aaron, but it's been a nice winter break, a couple of months off from this at least. How's life been?
Yeah, it's been hectic. I was only talking to somebody yesterday. Someone asked me about, ready for another season. I was like, it hasn't really stopped. There's been things been happening in the background. Probably had a couple of weeks off over Christmas where you tried to delete social media and hide away from it. But it's been a lot going on, lots happening. Looking forward to it. Another big year, another exciting year on the front. The internationals got back underway. It's the start of what could be another year of a lot of traveling and a lot of excitement.
We'll talk about the internationals later on in the program. Of course, 2 games this week. One a 0-0 draw against Italy over in Italy on the weekend, and then of course last night's disappointing result against Wales. We'll chat about that a little bit later on the program, but of course the season kicks off in earnest this week. We have all the underage leagues kicking off, as well as the President's Cup, the curtain raiser for the actual season, and this year it is the league champions versus the FAI Cup winners of last season. That's Athlone Town, who won the FAI Cup, of course, and Peamount United, who once again won the league trophy. We'll be chatting to a player from each side over the next half hour or so on the show. Chloe Moloney and Madie Gibson will be joining us in just a few moments. But Aaron, I suppose, in your sense, the game at the weekend, how much does this matter to both teams or even to the season? Is it just a last pre-season friendly?
See, trophies at this level are hard to come by. You can say it's technically it's a preseason friendly, but like you could see how much it meant even to Athlone last year to win that President's Cup. It was the first time it was played. I think there's definitely still be a bit of an intensity about it. I don't think the teams will treat it as a preseason friendly. I think for both managers, I think they'll just want to come through it unscathed, no injuries, no nothing ahead of the opening weekend of the season, because I think that's what they're probably concerned is just, can I get through this unscathed? But listen, it's nice to win another trophy. Michael D. Higgins will be in attendance as well, and like what more do you want? We talk about parity and stuff like that with the men, so they bring the President's Cup in last year. It's a nice little trophy as well, and Athlone will be out to the friend today. Won't want to let that go easy enough.
It's a nice little trophy. Maybe we'll have someone to tell us all about winning it last year. We bring in Madie Gibson to the conversation and Chloe Moloney, of course, from Peamount United. Girls, you're very, very welcome to the show. How are things in both camps? I suppose, Madie, as the reigning President's Cup holders, we might as well go to yourself. How's the mood in Athlone?
Mood is definitely good. We're looking forward to Saturday and getting a run in. It's a good start to the season, so I think we're all excited and itching to get back on the pitch together.
I think for you, Chloe, we've seen Peamount putting the photos out again. James O'Callaghan talked at the League Awards last year about doing the running up and down the hills. It started again. There's a lot at stake this year. You're no longer underdogs. I'd say for Peamount, you're just excited to get going.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably a different approach this year for us because last year we were probably definitely the underdogs. And this year, I guess everyone will be out to beat us and stuff, which is natural, but I guess we have to change our mindset. We probably didn't need any motivation last year for kind of what was going on, but this year we have to find a new motivation, obviously, to drive on, and obviously we want to win every game. Even on Saturday, like, you don't want to lose any game, whether it's a league game or the All-Ireland Cup or the President's Cup. You want to try win every game you can.
You talk about motivation, Chloe. What is that motivation this year? Obviously, last year we all, it's well talking about in terms of the departures from the club. You went and won the league title after that. What's the motivation going into this season? What's been the talk in the dressing room?
Yeah, well, we just kind of discussed it amongst ourselves because last year we didn't need any motivation, and this year probably winning the league and that feeling of winning the league with your teammates was the best feeling we ever had, any of us, and all the girls will tell you that. And we just want to have that feeling again, and I'm sure everyone else in the league wants that feeling of winning the league, and obviously going to play in Champions League and stuff. And yeah, the Champions League is a big motivation for us as well because we want to be playing well and doing well going into that. It's really important for us to represent Ireland as best we can. So yeah, that's just a brand new motivation to play in the Champions League and be fit and ready for it, along with competing for the league again. As I said, it was the best feeling ever, and why not try win it again?
Just in terms of that, though, Chloe, it must be, when you see that trophy in Peamount, especially after what's happening, not even just with the players leaving, but the 2 years previous, that night, that famous night that everybody talks about, and we hate bringing it up. And then last year, where you're 1 or 2 games away from winning a league title, like, it must have been special.
Yeah, like, honestly, to this day, the best sporting moment I have to date, and probably will be for a very long time. But that's in the past now, and it's time for new memories. And hopefully we can drive on this year. But obviously, it's something we'll always have in the back of our minds, that it was really special, just how everything panned out and stuff. And like, not many as in nearly everyone, didn't give us a chance. Like, so, I guess that made it extra special for us. But as I said, it's time now to push on to a new season. Obviously, it's in the past, but it's a really, really good memory for all of us.
Don't mind him. He brings that night up all the time. He loves talking about it.
Madie, I do too.
Madie, from your point of view, you're going into this as holders. You kind of came in under the radar last year. Shells won the double. You got in as kind of the runners-up, kind of by default. This time you're there on merit. It's been a phenomenal rise for Athlone in the last probably 18 months. Coming into this with a new manager and some new players. I know you've had a bit of a switch with Sligo Rovers, probably the highest profile one in terms of Casey Howe coming to yourselves, and Murren Devaney going in the opposite direction. What's the mood like in the camp from your point of view?
The mood is good. We've had a hard preseason and we've all been really working hard. So just coming into Saturday, we want to do the best we can. Obviously, we want to win as well, but this will be a good test for us to see where we're at thus far and how well we're going to do this season. But I think coming from last season, how we started was kind of not what we all really expected. So then just coming out of that and then ending up winning the FAI Cup, I think all of our hopes are really high for this season. And I think we're hoping to do a lot better and finish a lot better than we did last year on the table anyways.
Bit of a two-pronged question for you, Madie. First part, what was that like bringing that cup back to Athlone? Because it hadn't been done. The men hadn't won the FAI Cup in a long time. And secondly, is there going to be a lot more pressure on you this year, especially with Dana having left the club?
Yeah, last year I think it was bittersweet, especially because it was a final repeat from the year before. So we kind of got our revenge from last year, coming up short. So we were all really excited about that, and it meant a lot to the club and a lot to the town. And I think it was really cool to be a part of that. And yeah, this year, obviously, I don't have my friend Dana, but we brought in new players, and that happens in clubs every year. People come in, you lose players, so you just kind of have to adapt.
Talk to me about the logistics of because you're in a different circumstance than everybody else, because you've come from a different country to come and play here. What is your decision-making process when you get to the end of the season? You've chosen to stay again. Dana's moved on. Players tend to move on much quicker than 3 seasons. You're now coming into your third. What's your motivation to stay in the country and stay with Athlone Town?
Right. So each year I kind of want something more than what I've had in the previous year. So the first year I came here, I was here for half a season. We made it to the cup final, and I was like, okay, I want more. We as a club want more than that, and I want to help them achieve that. So then this past year we made it to the cup final again and ended up winning. And then now I'm thinking, okay, what can we do next season that we haven't already done? So that's kind of my mindset on it, and why I've decided to stay is because I think, we can get a good run in the league, and I wanted to be a part of that.
I guess Chloe, I'll throw this to something similar to you then. What's your motivation? You talk about Champions League. You've been there before. You've won everything. Multi-sport athlete. Like, what motivates you to get up to Dublin from Clare in a pre-season and sort of be like, you know what, I want to keep doing this? Because there's now options that are closer to you, that are not as long a drive, not as big of a commitment having to make the travel to Dublin. What makes you want to always walk in that door of Peamount?
To be honest, like obviously I've been there a few years now, and like I'm obviously traveling up. It's the bones of 3 hours of a drive, but just like the girls in general, the whole club, like everyone just makes you feel so special. Like, and like the girls really appreciate me driving up, and they know like the hard work that I do put in to get up to Peamount. But just everything about the club, like I've made absolute best friends like for life over the last few years, and they're just a huge part of my life, really. And like I could just never, like as I said to you, Aaron, in the interview after we won the league, about if someone asked me to pick GAA or soccer, like it's just, if I got €5 every time, I'd be loaded. But yeah, there's just like it's, I couldn't, like I just couldn't, because there's just too many just too many good things happening with all of people, like, you know, up there that are just really special to me, and we're just really close as a group. And that probably showed last season as well, that we were really tight together with even a small group that we have. Yeah, it's great. And even the likes of James understanding that I'm playing another sport as well. There's never been an issue, and he's always supported me in that sense. So that's probably another thing as well. Like I'm not too sure all managers in the league would accept me playing another sport, but like and there's a few of us, obviously Lucy McCartan as well has played with Westmeath and stuff, and there's never been an issue over the years. It's always been sport. They've been really supportive of us, and even the club as well. Like we got to the All-Ireland final there in July, like all the girls were there. There was 20 of them there, and like even all the club members were there and stuff, and it was just really nice to see that they're that supportive of me. Obviously playing two sports is tough, but like they have my back, like when it comes to that.
I was at that All-Ireland final as well.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to play any Gaelic football at all? Has that been thrown at you at all?
No, sometimes I'll mess around in training and the girls are like, wait, you should actually try Gaelic. And I'm like, I do not know the rules. I do not know what I'm doing. I'll just kick the ball up to my hands and they're like, you could be good. But no, I don't think that's in my...
Kieran Kilduff and immediately kills that suggestion. In terms of the weekend, we're going to see a few new faces for both sides. There's a few new additions to both squads. Maybe, Chloe, tell us about the girls in Peamount, the new arrivals there, the likes of Erica Burke and stuff who've come in through the closed season. Have they hit the ground running? Are you looking forward to seeing them in a green and black jersey at the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. And Ciara Maher as well is another one. Two really good players, and they've came in, worked really, really hard, and they've just really gelled great with the group. Two lovely girls as well, and like they just, Ciara obviously would have been in Peamount before as well. So I remember she was there when I kind of started out. Obviously she went elsewhere after that, but yeah, really, really good players. You've seen her playing last season with Bose, and Erica the same. Obviously Sean Byrne is with us as well, so he knows the two of them very well. Yeah, but brilliant additions to the team, and obviously we have those young girls that were brilliant for us last year. They're all another year older as well. Even Jess there was in the obviously international squad, like absolutely amazing. She was definitely up there, one of our best players last season, and for such a young girl, like it's amazing for her and great achievement.
Madie, you've had a few in the door as well. Who has impressed you in terms of training? Obviously Casey Howe, probably the highest profile of them.
Yeah, really all of them. Like they've come in and just gelled right in with the team. They've all been working so hard during this preseason, and they've all really impressed me with their abilities on the pitch, and just how hard they've been working. And yeah, Casey, she's just excellent up top, so fast. We also got Janaea Robertson. She came from Shells. She's very good. Who else? Carrie Ann as well. She came from Sion Swift, I think. Yeah. So she's been doing really well in preseason. So yeah, no, we've added more than enough players to kind of come in and help strengthen our team. And also with the younger girls, they're doing so good this year too. So
I think it's interesting though. Janae Robertson's it's an interesting signing because I don't think people really seen much of her with Shells because of the fact she did with a nasty hamstring injury. But when you're looking, Madie, you're seeing some of the young girls in Peamount get international recognition, the likes of Jess being called in, Erin being called in. If I was to say to you, how long do you think it'll be before we potentially see one of the Athlone players getting that nod to maybe make that step up?
I know we have a couple underage girls like Mary Phillips and Izzy Ryan who have been called up to the underage, and we have a lot more talent, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe after this season some of them are called up as well.
Of course, that season starts at the weekend, and the two of you going to be on opposing sides, potentially even challenging each other at various stages through the afternoon. So what we've decided to do is have a little bit of a challenge just to kind of whet the appetite and see how you get on. I know you're both so excited about the possibility of doing this. So we're going to have a little a quiz, right? And it's real simple. We've got 6 categories. You pick a category. We'll do it in turns. Madie, as the defending champions of the President's Cup, we're going to give you first choice of the categories, the 6 categories, and then you pick home or away. Home questions, slightly easier, 1 point. Away questions, a bit more difficult, maybe a lot more difficult, 3 points. It'll make sense as you go along. So we'll start off with you, Madie.
Am I allowed to give them a clue even though I don't know half the questions?
I'll come to you if they don't get it. I'll come to you and see if you can get it. This could be embarrassing for you, Aaron. You're expected to know this stuff. Girls, Madie, pick a category first.
Okay, not so mellow yellow.
Not so mellow yellow. Okay, this is the same question. This is the same question for the two of you, right? So this is the first meeting of the clubs this season. In the first game between these sides last season, played almost to the day, 1 day out on the 4th of March last year, you both got booked at the same time. What minute was it? Right, and
that's my favorite highlight.
3 points. 3 points if you get the exact minute. 2 points if you're within 3 minutes, and 1 point if you're within 5. So, Madie, you pick the category, so we will let you go first. So, Chloe,
sorry, can you repeat that one more time? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, just what minute did you get booked in? What minute of the game? 3 points for an exact answer. 2 if you're nearly there, and 1 if you're within 5.
I'm gonna say the 70th.
Okay, that's 70th for you, Chloe. Yourself?
I'm going to say 65th.
55, both of you, no points on that one. Tell us about the incident. Why is it your favorite highlight, Madie?
I'll let you go, Madie.
Yeah, I just remember her pinching my back.
Chloe's a bit of a habit of
kind of you know how it is, like with forwards and defenders, we're just both obviously trying to win the game. So yeah, it was like nothing really serious, just
handbags.
Me running into her.
Yeah.
I can remember one game last season in a different game. I won't name the game, where Chloe absolutely took the player at the forward out with mind games. She just never stopped all game.
Oh yeah.
That would be me, all right.
Yeah, we might see a repeat of that at the weekend. Neither of you seem too keen to get into the specifics of it, but that's fine. Okay, so that leaves us 0 points after the first category. We'll go with Chloe, if you want to pick a category there.
I'll go Peamount versus Athlone.
Peamount versus Athlone. That's a good one. Okay, so home or away, Chloe?
I'll go away.
Okay, which means that, Madie, you're going home, right? So Chloe, actually, no, I'll give you the option. You have the option on this one. You're going away for 3 points. Name 9 players who scored for your club last season without naming someone who didn't. I'll give you 1 point if you get 7.
9 players from my team that scored in any game.
That scored in any league game.
Okay. Derv LeBurn.
1, correct.
Karen Duggan.
2.
Jess Fitzgerald.
3.
Ellen Dolan.
4.
Kate Mooney.
5.
Erin McLaughlin.
6. We'll give you 1 point if you get 7.
Sive Doyle.
That is 7. That's 1 point secured. 2 more.
Becky Watkins.
That's 8.
And Avril Breifne.
Avril Breifne is great. Do you know who one of the two you didn't get? Yourself. Yourself.
My one goal.
Yeah, that's still a goal. 3 points for Chloe. Madie, home or away?
I'll do home.
Home. Dana was the top scorer for your club last season. Who was second on the list for your club?
Well, I feel like this is a trick question.
It's not. It's a simple question.
Okay. It's either Chloe Singleton or me, but I can't remember.
Okay, you better pick one. You're either going to look rather silly or foolish if you get this wrong, by the way, or if you get it right, or it's not you. What do you say? Who are you going with? Final answer? You said you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. 1 point for you. Okay, so 3-1. That could have been catastrophic for you.
I couldn't remember because I thought we had the same.
No, you had 1 or 2 more. I think you had 10 and she had 8. Maybe over the season. I'm just talking about league games. It's your turn to pick a category. You're 3-1 behind, by the way.
Back of the net.
Back of the net. Perfect. Okay. Where's the back of the net? Yeah, there it is. Okay. I think I mixed up the questions there. Well done, Breifne.
I can't even ask this question because I don't even know the question.
Yeah, I know.
Wonderful.
Okay. I've actually mixed up the 2 categories there. Apologies. We'll go with the swap. What the last one should have been. Home or away. If you pick home, Chloe's going to be away and vice versa.
I'll do away.
Okay.
I love it.
Last year in the league, then I'll start with Chloe because that's the lead-on question. The last league meeting between your 2 sides was in June 23. Both of you started the game. What was the final score? Chloe, for 1 point.
Was that the game in Peamount?
Oh, it's in June. I can't tell you which one. It was
Okay.
the last.
5-2.
Conveniently froze there, I think. Sorry, I missed that.
5-3, isn't it?
5-3 is the right. What did you say?
No, she said 5-2.
I said 5-2. I said 5-2.
And then I saw her roll back a little bit, and she was like, "It's 5-3, isn't it?"
They got 2 last late goals in that game to make it 5-3. The follow-up question, Madie: how many minutes did it take for former Peace striker Kate Mooney to score her hat-trick in that game? I'll give you 3 points if you're bang on, 2 points if you're within 3 minutes of the distance from first goal to third goal, and 1 point if you're within 5.
8 minutes.
Wow.
7. I'll give you 2 points for that. So it's all it's all tied up. That's a good guess.
That's a great.
I won't tell you what Aaron said earlier.
I'll tell you what I said. Because I knew they were all in the second half.
Yeah.
What did I say? 50? I said 15 minutes.
Oh, I just remember them coming one after another, and I was like, "Oh God."
That's
Chloe,
a great guess.
Your choice to pick a category.
No place like home.
Now, home or away?
I'll go away.
You're going away. Okay, so that means that, Madie, you'll also be going away in this category. Before playing in their current ground, Athlone Town's previous stadium was called what?
Oh, God. I've never played in any other stadium but Athlone.
Bonus point if you get it, Madie, if Chloe doesn't get it.
Nah,
Athlone Town's last stadium. Passing on that?
I never played there, so no, I wouldn't know.
Okay. Madie, I'll give you a point if you get it right.
I have no idea.
Find a week's wages.
You're asking, can I phone a friend?
No, you don't have too many people who will know that answer. You don't be making Mickey O'Connor famous again.
Don't worry, I can't even remember the name of it.
St. Mel's Park in Athlone. Of course, any old League of Ireland fans would know that. That means, Madie, your question is also relation to Peamount United, and you may or may not know this. Peamount United takes its name from what institution?
Oh, I have no idea. I wouldn't even have a guess.
A proud Clare woman would obviously be local. You'd know this. Where does it take its name from?
Its name from?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Aaron?
These are some hard questions.
You have done them dirty here because I don't even know this.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have a clue. Like.
You must know this.
No. And that's
Peamount
why it's
Peamount Hospital. It's where they started.
That's what I would have said, but I thought it was something more.
I wouldn't know that now just off the top of my head, like, no.
No, but you play for Peamount though, so you might possibly have up at some stage.
Maybe if I was underage.
Okay, fair enough. Last two categories. I think we're left with Euro trip and international flavor. Madie, your choice.
I'll do Euro trip.
Euro trip. Okay, this of course is about European intercontinental competitions. Both teams with a proud European club history. Do you want to go home or away, Madie?
I'll do home.
Home. How many seasons has your club? This is men and women's. How many seasons has your club played in UEFA club competitions in their history? Just the number of seasons. You don't have to tell me what years.
That's difficult.
I'm gonna say 2.
3. Very unlucky.
Oh!
I'll give you a point for being within 1. Okay, Chloe, same applies to you. I'll give you a point if you're within 1. How many seasons has your club played in UEFA club competitions? Not including this year, obviously you've qualified, but in previous seasons.
I'm gonna say 1, 2. 3 or 4. I'm gonna say 4.
4 is bang on. That's a 2-point lead for Chloe. She leads 6 points.
There for me is I wasn't sure whether you'd get the one where Peamount played when they won the FAI Cup when they played against PSG.
Let's see. Yeah.
No, I know. I definitely remember that one. Yeah.
That's the one that's all over your club. The pictures of it.
Yeah.
As a matter of interest, had you picked the away questions, we won't give any points for these. I probably don't expect you to know this, but the Athlone away question, I'll throw it out to all three of you. Athlone's most famous European night was in 1975, a bit before all of your times, but it is fairly historic. A 0-0 home draw against a club who has won the European Cup or the Champions League. Who were kept scoreless in Athlone that night?
Inter Milan.
You must have heard about this.
Is it Inter Milan?
Who were the scorers?
No, who was the opposition? It was 0-0, Athlone Town 0, European Giant 0.
What was it?
I don't know.
AC Milan? I don't
Bingo,
know.
Madie wins it. She can go back to Athlone. Yeah, she'll be led to training in the week. So you're one. Peamount played PSG. You just mentioned you remember it in Tala Stadium in 2011. 5 players who played for the Peas that night played in the league last season. Can you name them?
Anya O'Gorman, Karen Duggan, Stephanie Roach.
That's 3.
I'm trying to think of that poster that's up in Peamount.
I've got one that I think I've got one.
Go on, it's open. There's no points for this one.
Dara Gorman.
Nope.
Wow. That's a great question.
For some reason, I forgot to write down the 5th name.
It's a great question.
I thought so too. I'll give you a clue. She's played with Wexford last year. Oh, I know who the 5th one is now.
Oh, Nick Sinnott.
Nicola Sinnott, and the other one was Galway.
Lindsay McKeek?
Nope. She came on as a sub against PSG.
Oh, Julianne Russell.
Julianne Russell. Not a bad little teaser there. And the final category, we just finished with this one, international flavor. And this one is to you, Chloe. Do you want to pick home or away?
I'll go home.
You do lead by 2 points, by the way. So if you get this, you can't be beaten.
How many
international flair? How many different nationalities were represented in the League of Ireland Women's Premier Division last season?
Repeat that again, please.
How many different nationalities, player nationalities, were represented in the LOI Women's Premier Division season last year? Now, we're FIFA accredited, so if someone's born somewhere else and played for another country, we'll take either, but essentially we're looking for their FIFA if they have played international football.
I don't have a clue, to be honest, but
you don't have to pick the countries, just how many.
Yeah. I'm just gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess like 5.
No, it's 7. So
Okay.
no points for you. It means it's 2 points, Madie. You get the away question here, so there's 3 points up for grabs. And what I want you to do, you have the advantage now. This ball is firmly in your court. Name 5 of the nationalities. Actually,
This
no.
is easy now for her.
No. Name 5 of the nationalities and the player from that country who played in the league last year. You can start with yourself, by the way.
Okay.
And by the way, Ireland is a nationality in the country.
Yeah.
So you can also get,
you could use Athlone for.
well, don't give her that much. She has to get 3 here to pull us back. So we need 5. We need 5 countries, to be fair. 5 countries, and we'll give you 1 point if you get 4. So you have to win. To win, you have to get 5 countries.
Okay. Me, US.
That's 1.
Julia and Nausicaa, Italy.
Ooh, they're down as US on the list, but they could be Italy.
Nausicaa's Italian.
Okay, go with that. That wasn't on the list. That's fine.
Janaea and Maggie, Canada.
Yep.
Maggie Pierce. No.
Maggie Pierce.
Christy Gray.
Yeah. Need 2 more. I'll give you a clue. Look to the right.
What?
Like
No, don't.
Okay.
Don't. That makes it easy.
What was that? 3?
You've 3.
That's 3.
I actually wouldn't be able to name anyone.
Trying to think.
There's 1 in your dressing room now. Casey Howe.
Casey Howe.
And I'm going to have to press you for a 5th one. Although I think this will be a push. Oh, no, that's 5. Oh, no, it isn't. It's 4.
It's 4.
Yeah.
It's 4.
I just named 2 people from Canada.
I reckon we give her 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds. And you're going to kick yourself if you don't get this. Northern Ireland, USA, Canada, and Italy. And there's 4 other countries. We need 1 more. Of different nationalities in the league. There's a really obvious one.
I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say we're done, Breifne. That's 10 seconds for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you're going to kick yourself.
The really obvious one was Republic of Ireland. And you could have named any player in the league. So
that's why you said look to your right.
Yeah, I did try and help you, but
I literally was like thinking of the right in the room I'm in. So I was like, who's in the room with me?
No, I'm good, but I'm not that good. I don't know who's in the room with you either. But no, it's Republic of Ireland would have got you all 5. So unfortunately for the American contingent, it's 6-5 to the Irish. Thanks for playing that game with us, girls. It's going to be an exciting game at the weekend. I'm not going to be so crass as to ask you predictions for the game, because obviously I think you're going to win the game at the weekend. But what's your hopes coming out of the season ahead as this kind of curtain is raised on Saturday? Chloe, I suppose we'll start with you.
Obviously it's a really good game for us before obviously the league starts the following week. It's exactly what you want because it's a competitive game, and always going down to Athlone is tough no matter what competition it's in. We love that Astro down there, but it's always a really, really tight game between both teams, and it's always a good run out. Like, both teams are always absolutely wrecked coming off the field, so it's the perfect preparation for the league. Obviously there's a cup at stake as well, so it would be nice to win that. But obviously just looking at our performance, and as Madie said earlier, just seeing where we're at and stuff before we go into the league.
Madie, yourself?
Yeah, just a good test for the team to see where we're at after preseason, and the new girls getting a run in against a good side. So it'll be a good start to the season.
Well, listen, I think 4 of your last 5 cup games ended in penalty shootouts, so maybe we might see the same at the weekend. That we, from a neutral point of view, we like the excitement, but from your point of view, I'm sure your nerves would be quite happy to settle matters.
I'm sick of them.
In 90 minutes. Listen, girls, thanks for joining us. The very best of luck.
No.
Please go easy on each other at the weekend. No more clashes, but if they do, make sure we're really impressed the weekend. I think it's going to be a really, really good game, and a good game for the neutrals to watch as well. And the best of luck. Talk to you later on in the season.
Perfect.
Thank you guys.
2 girls there. That was a bit of fun, at least. But I think the 2 girls, you can see that they're just itching to get back into the action and get back to the field and playing.
Yeah, unfortunately for Chloe won't be playing in the game. We
didn't touch on that, but she's taking an injury.
Taking an injury, so she potentially won't be playing it, but she'll be back soon. I think for Peamount, it's a good opportunity because, they haven't won this competition before. From Athlone viewpoint, new management come in terms of new assistant manager come in. There's been a bit of change off the field, more players coming in. So both sides, I think, would be using this as a good test to understand where they are. It's a short season again this year with only 20 league games. So, I think from a viewpoint of both managers, once they come out through without unscathed for anything, and they get out of this with any sort of positivities. Yes, you want to win it, but it's not. To me, it's not the be all and end all if you don't win the game. As long as you come out with the right foot and know where you need to go, what you need to work on. And there was one thing I was surprised you didn't pick up on, and when Chloe said it, Sean Byrne going into Peamount United as a coach joining James O'Callaghan. I spoke to James a little bit about this recently. I've spoke to Sean about it as well. I think it's a good move for both. I think from when Brian O'Sullivan was obviously saying he was going to leave Peamount, the travel commitments coming up from Waterford were just too much from to be doing regularly as well as working. So it was a good idea for James just to bring someone else in, and I think Sean will add a bit there. It'll also give Sean a good opportunity to revitalise as well before maybe he may want another crack at another team in the league. The way the post situation ended wasn't great for anybody. The way the clubs handled it, I still don't think it was great. The fact that everybody knew he was gone 8 weeks before they announced it, would have liked him just to say, even listen, we at the end of the season, we're not renewing the contract or don't wait. And I thought the statement that came out at the end probably wasn't great either. But listen, no, excited for the game. I think it's going to be a good game of football. Not surprised to see it being in Athlone. Realistically, I don't think the FAI really wanted it in Peamount for the fact of facilities and stuff like that, but second year in a row, Athlone have got the host. I think it'll live up to it. I think it'll be an entertaining game. When these two sides meet, they generally tend to produce good games of football or lots of goals in them sort of games as well, or last minute goals. So I think it'll be good. It'll be enjoyable.
I think the FAI have I suppose a tradition of if there's a Dublin team versus a country team in a cup final, they tend to bring it to the provinces. There's plenty of, now maybe it's just anecdotally, it's my experience of it, but they tend to end up in Galway or Cork or Limerick or Athlone or wherever it might be, just for the general purpose. And they tend to get bigger crowds in the smaller areas because they're such a rare event in rural Ireland or in the provincial towns. So hopefully it'll be a big game. The game, of course, on Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m. Will be available to get tickets to the game. It's in Athlone Town Stadium, as Aaron mentioned, but of course it's also available on loitv.ie as well. I'm not sure the price is probably €5, but it might be €7.
It's €5. I think it's €5. I think it is included in anybody who has an annual subscription as well.
Yes, just tune in. It's bound to be a great game of football between two fantastic sides. Now, speaking of great games of football, one that won't be remembered for the quality was last night's international clash with Wales. Disappointing result, disappointing performance. Aaron, you were at the game. I watched it from a distance. I'm glad I didn't travel in hindsight. It was a disappointing night on a whole pile of levels for Irish, for what has been a very positive story in Irish sport in the last 18 months.
Yeah, it was bleak. I tweeted at halftime. It was probably one of the worst first halves of football I've watched. I can't remember if it was Rusha or Jess said to us after the game that it was like Wales were playing on a full size pitch. Ireland were playing in it was Rusha playing in a 10x10 square box, and they just couldn't keep the ball. Like, the goals are so preventable. Everything about the build up to the goals are so preventable. even the corner, even giving away the corner for the first goal, it's so preventable. Like, it's silly mistakes. The biggest thing for me is, and I know we'll probably chat about the Italian game on the Friday, is just the intensity change from what they had against Italy, how they sort of controlled possession against Italy when they had it. They sort of made Italy come out a little bit and sort of gain some opportunities. But against Wales, it just looked as though it looked as though it was a completely different team, and nearly looked as though Ireland were still in Florence enjoying a bit of the deload time. But it just wasn't great.
What were the positives that you did take out of it, though? Because like, it wasn't all bad. There was some debuts made out. Emily Murphy came in for her debut. Jess Stapleton had her first start against Italy. What were the bright sparks out of a disappointing week?
Well, I'm not going to say it's a disappointing week. It's 100% a miserable night. In terms of last night, apart from Emily Murphy making her debut, I don't think there is many positives out of last night. I thought the way they transitioned from back to front was poor. They struggled to create chances. Like, if you look back in the second half and just use your head there for a second, tell me a clear chance where they tested the goalkeeper, because I was racking my brain trying to think where they actually made the keeper make an actual serious save.
Second half, I can't remember one. I know a great save from the keeper and defender from Amber Barrett in the late stages of the first half.
When
how she did knock the girl.
Little John prevented the ball from going into the net, and then it was a great save from there. And then obviously they changed the keeper at half time. But like, even just think of the second goal, the ball is given away twice to Wales. Get it back the first time, then give it away again. It's nearly a nothing ball across outside the box. It's flicked on, and then listen, it's a lovely finish by Lily Woolham for the second goal. But
she sliced it though. She meant to hit it.
How it got to her in the first place is, I don't know. The first goal, how you can give that much space from the corner off the runner. I didn't see who it was who was picking her up. Like, for me, there's no excuse to say, Nifahi pulled out the warm up. Like, because realistically, even if you had Nifahi there, I still don't think it would have made much of a difference. They were bypassing Ireland way too easy. Like, Ireland's intensity just wasn't there. The thing for me, and I know we're going to get into this and we're going to chat about manager and stuff like that, is Eileen Gleeson needed to change something in the first half. She should not have waited till halftime and brought on personnel changes. If at that stage you're being pulled apart, the one thing that I would have liked to see, and I don't think we did, is when we went 1-0 down, someone just go down injured. Captain, pull them together, have a quick word, like, and just sort of regroup. To me, it was as if they didn't know what they were doing on the pitch. They thought they had a game plan, but they didn't actually. And like, the thing is, yes, you can criticize the manager for selection and how she set the team up, but I think the players have to take a lot of the flack here for the performance as well, because it was a really, really poor performance. And I will talk about the Italy game in a few minutes, because I think there's a lot of positives out of that Italy game.
Yeah, last night, now I didn't see the Italy game, so I can't really comment on it in detail, but last night we were missing a lot of players for this window. Denise O'Sullivan's a huge loss, and any team in the world would benefit with having Denise O'Sullivan. Not having her was huge. There was a couple of other girls.
Farrelly's a massive loss.
Yeah, Farrelly and Tyler Tolan. So you're taking the heart of your midfield out and trying to replace them with players who, I don't know, just don't quite seem to gel as easily as those three have done in the Nations League campaign. And that for me was disappointing. But given the players at our disposal, I was very impressed with one or two that I saw in flashes, but then they'd give the ball away after doing something great. Give the ball away easily. And I saw Jess been interviewed after the game. Jess Zhu was interviewed after the game. And they talked about the little moment of magic where she nutmegged the player in the corner and she said, "Oh, I should have shot." There seemed to be lacking that little bit of mercenary, just, I'm going to take this effort and take this game by the scruff of the neck. We didn't seem to have that. And maybe Denise and Katie in a freer role bring that at times.
Mm-hmm. Katie was very restricted in the two games. Katie stayed back an awful lot. I thought Katie was completely out of the game last night. But like, when you're looking at it as a whole, like to play the Italians who are 10 ranked above us, and just to give context, because I like the intensity against Italy was massive. They started the game off like a house on fire. They put Italy under a lot of pressure. Like the same midfield started against Italy, Stapleton, Connolly, and Rusha Littlejohn. They didn't give Italy an ounce of space defensively. I thought Ireland were very good against Italy, but then when you compare it to this game, it's as if these players hadn't played together before. It was like the one question I would have for you is, Breifne, is when's the last time you've seen an Ireland team bullied in that fashion?
Oh, it's been a while, and I'm talking years. It's been a while. Like the US, when we play the US, but that's kind of a given. I can't see it happening. And what's worrying now is we've got England in the qualification group. Of course, that draw took place.
No, that's the men. That's the men. So women hasn't taken place yet. The women's doesn't take place until next Tuesday.
Next week. Sorry, yeah, no, I'm
But the thing, I'll give you a bit of context for that draw. So Ireland are going to be a 4th seed.
Yeah.
So you've got teams like Germany, France, Spain, and Holland are going to be a number 1 seed. England are going to be a number 2 seed. So there is a potential chance that Ireland could end up with 3 massive teams in that qualifying group. And like for me, when you see a performance that's night and day, it's frustrating because to say you're missing these players, but yet when you play a higher ranked team the Friday beforehand and they do excellent, I think they performed superbly in that Italian game, to where you're thinking, okay, they limited Italy to probably 2 chances. The second one, she should have scored. But other than that, Ireland had the chance where Leanne Kiernan had the ball in the net, but it was offside. But like I thought, in terms of going forward, like Leanne Kiernan playing on the left flank, for me, she shouldn't be out on the left flank. Leanne Kiernan is not a left winger. I would have loved to see Leanne get a bit of an opportunity. And so when she made the subs at half time, I would have loved to even see Leanne go in there into the pocket where Jess Sue done. Like, listen, I think if you're looking for a positive from last night, it was the first time Jess Sue played 90 minutes in 17 odd months, and she took a couple of knocks, and she got up and she kept going and kept going and kept going. I think that's probably one of the other positives. Murphy, for me, Murphy's very raw. I'd like to see what she can do when she gets a bit more time in the camp. I think she had some good glimpses, but like the talk about her is that she wanted to do this for a while, and sort of Eileen Gleeson reached out to her and said, hey, do you want to have this conversation, or will I close off the door? And she sort of said, yes, I'd love to have the conversation. And then it happened pretty quickly to bring her in.
I think for me, and again, I don't know very much about the girl. She came in and she appeared to me as if she is the main player on her collegiate team in the States, and she seemed to want to nearly do it all herself when she did get opportunities. Maybe she's trying to impress, maybe she's trying to and I get that, but I just felt that she needed to engage with the players around her. She didn't quite do that enough. That's maybe just that rawness, that little bit of innocence at this level. Maybe that will come, but she needs a good bit of work to get to the level that we've seen from a Jesu or Izzy Atkinson, who've come in similar positions and kind of impressed in recent weeks and months.
Oh, absolutely. I still think she's a very a good distance behind even the likes of Akira Carusa, who coming in isn't in season either. So I wasn't surprised to see Kira not start the game yesterday. I thought she would have only started one of the two. And to be honest with you, if you're going to start in either of them, I prefer to have started in that Italian game. And I thought she done quite well in the Italy game. But the problem is when you're bringing on players like that, you're coming on chasing the results. It's difficult because like Wales knew, okay, we're 2-0 up. Like they didn't have to be exceptional as well to be 2-0 up. That's the frustrating part of it as well. And I don't even think Wales were better than a 6.5, 7 out of 10 last night. And that's the frustrating part of it.
Talk to me about the goalkeeper situation, because we've seen over the last few years, and I'm talking years, a complete reliability on Courtney Brosnan. Now, she's top notch, let's be honest, but there are girls chomping at the bit to get that opportunity to get a few minutes. We haven't seen another player in an Irish goalkeeper jersey.
24. I think it's 24 into that.
Not a single
up until Friday. Before Friday's game, I think it was 22 when the FAI sent stuff out to us the other day. I think it was 22. So these two games, 24 internationals in a row, going back to February 2022. is the last time a different goalkeeper starting to go for rounds.
I played a minute, I think. That's a problem for us going forward, because these girls behind, and we're talking about experienced players, the likes of Grace Moloney, Sophie Whitehouse is in there. There's been 4 or 5 other players. Nisha McAloon's been in squads. Eve Badan has been in squads. There are others as well. Not one of them has seen game time. How are we going to develop depth in a squad if you're not going to throw them on, particularly when Courtney picked up that injury yesterday? Why are we not seeing that from? And it's not just the Eileen thing. It's been over 2 or 3 years.
Breifne, what happens if she gets injured? That's the question. That is the question. It's what happens if she gets injured? Who are they going to play? Like, because realistically, you see with other countries will throw a different goalkeeper in. They'll give them an opportunity. Like, I understand. Yes, you're building towards a Nations League, but for me, and I said on the show last year, like, that when you know you've won that group after beating Albania away and you've 2 games to go, you play a different goalkeeper in both of them games. Yes, you still want to finish on maximum points, but you play a different goalkeeper in them games. The problem is the reason why Eileen Gleeson didn't do it is because Eileen Gleeson entered the prospects for the Irish international job. I think it was before the Albania away game, or just after the Albania away game. So she was never going to do that because she needed to impress. That's why she didn't give many players a massive opportunity. She kept pretty much the same regular team because she knew she was in the hunt for that job. Listen, I understand why she didn't come out and publicly say it. I get that. To be honest with you, it's a difficult position to turn around and say you don't want it, and then all of a sudden you throw your name into the hat. Like the lads were asking her constantly, what she not consider. I understand why she didn't, because if she says yes, there's going to be even more questions off the back of it. Like, the one problem is, and it's the same with the men's, when they got rid of managers, both male and female in the FAI, they had no plan ready. They had nothing ready. They realistically knew before the World Cup that they were not extended Virapel.
100%.
So they had from July up until they appointed Eileen in December. So that's a long window that they were working on. That. They had no plan. And it's the same thing is happening with the men right now. There's no plan. There's no things
to be
in place.
Fair, in defense of the FAI, Mark Canham in particular, he came out today and said that they will be making an appointment in March. The John O'Shea thing for me is a little underwhelming, considering what we would have expected at this stage.
Listen, Paddy McCarthy is a smashing coach. He's actually a relation of Peamount coach Sean Byrne, and you can see where they're two great tactical coaches. I wasn't surprised to see the FAI do that, but like the problem is that people are now starting to asking the questions is when you get rid of someone or when you make a change, because they said they made the change for the women because of playing style, but yeah, if you're going to do a change like that, you have to have something in place. Like, listen, if they turned around to us and said Eileen's taking the job permanently after the first 2 Nations League games, you'd probably said, okay, that's fine. Well, it's a bit of clarity.
Yeah, in terms of, I suppose, the bigger concern for the sport, the women's football in the country, Eileen was in the role of the head of women's football. She's gone into this FAI position. I personally think it was a poor move for the game. I'm not saying Eileen isn't right for the job, not at all. She's a fine coach. She's well established. She knows the girls. She's a perfect candidate really for the head coach job. I just would have liked to have seen a commitment to the wider head of women's football, which I believe is a bigger job than the international head coach, in my opinion. So not as high profile, but it's definitely more important in terms of the actual growth of the women's football in the game. Now they've advertised a fixed term contract for the duration, the exact same duration as Eileen's contract as the head coach. I can't see any credible candidate stepping into that role, knowing that if it doesn't work out for Eileen, the FAI have the option to put her back in that role. That's a concern for me, is that we're going to end up with literally a placeholder who's going to just fill the role until they know what's happening with Eileen.
Yeah, which is completely wrong for such an important job, such an important role. But like the problem is that like when Vera was gone, Eileen's name came out quickly as a potential to interim along with other potential permanent managers. But like for the last couple of months, the other question then is how much focus has Eileen actually given that role, because since the World Cup, it would have been what was it, 4 or 5 weeks between the World Cup finishing and the first game in the Nations League. So how much has that women and girls in football role got taken on? Who has sort of, has it been delegated? Who's been looking after? So the problem is, and this is where, when you say it's a bigger role, there's a massive problem in Irish women's soccer here at the minute, in terms of, even if you look what's going on with the likes of the DWSL and the MGL, you know, that problem's still ongoing. That problem was going since the summer. It's still ongoing now. It hasn't been resolved. That's where you need someone in as a head of women's and girls football to turn around to this and say, hold on a minute, I need to get involved. I need to sort this. I need to step in here. We need to get this, because the problem is the only people that's suffering in that sort of argument, and this is where we need these sort of decision makers, is the young kids and young girls and young players. They're the only people who are suffering. And for me, to see it being advertised as a fixed term contract, I don't like it. I honestly don't like it. I don't think it sits well with me, because it sort of tells you, okay, if Eileen doesn't do well here, we're going to put her back into her previous role. You know, and the question I would have is Eileen's move to the women's national manager, has that been put through as a secondment, or has that been put through as a new job? Because that's the other.
Yeah, this came up in, I think, the government committee last week. A few TDs and senators wanted to chat about this specific issue. Now, this isn't an anti-Eileen thing at all. I think Eileen Gleeson is probably the best placed person in the country for that head of women's football role.
But listen, she could do brilliant with the women and get us to another European Championship. The players are there. That's the thing. The players are there. It's just the way things are being done to organise roles. Yeah. Like when you turn around and say Eileen Gleeson is the new women's manager, great. Eileen's got her opportunity. She's got a chance to go and prove herself. The problem is we're now the 28th of February, heading into March in 2 days' time. We still don't have a head of women's and girls football. Eileen took that job in December.
To be fair, the closing date for applications was last month, so it's only been about 4 or 5 weeks, which is not atypical.
But the other problem though is Breifne is they're so invested in sorting the men's manager out. Is the men's manager going to take preferential treatment to where that's going to be the number one priority? Until that's sorted, we won't get ahead of women's and girls football. So that could potentially then if that's the case, that could linger on till May, because it's a lot of the same people involved in the process. To be fair, and I can't believe I'm defending the FAI so rigorously, but to be fair, that process is ongoing. It's just maybe a little slower than those of us in the game would like to have seen. We're running out of time, so quickly, as well as the President's Cup this weekend, the underage leagues, and they also kick off in earnest. We've got a full tranche of teams across under 17 and under 19 leagues as well. All the fixtures are on finalwhistle.ie. You can catch them there. But off the top of my head, I think it's about 22 teams in the under 17 league and approximately 15 or 16 in the under 19 league. But we're beginning to see more teams emerge, more opportunities for girls to play at that level, and the quality that we're seeing coming out of that league in recent seasons in the international sides, and also in the younger players coming into the League of Ireland. It's really promising for the game here in this country, Aaron. Oh, 100%. But the only thing is, until we get them 22 clubs playing at under 19s level, we can't have a proper expansion of the league. So that's where, and it's great to see, and it's great to see more and more of these teams joining the 19s and progressing on. It's brilliant. It's unbelievable to see. Like, you see players who are playing underage football. Like, you look at Peamount, the likes of your Jess Fitzgerald, Ellen Moloney and Wexford played in the underage finals last year after coming back from the ACL injury, still eligible. Like, there's some smashing players, and I think a lot of credit has to go in. And like, you even look at some of the off the field stuff that clubs are trying to do and trying to sort of support on. Like, if you look at, it was announced in the week, we already have a transition year Fingal course for girls only now. Wexford and Pres Wexford have actually announced that they are going to have one next year for their girls, and that's a great initiative for Wexford. It's another one for a different part that's outside of Dublin that gives another opportunity for these sort of things to happen. I think what the likes of Scott Gaynor, who was involved with Wexford Youths as a coach, has done, and I think he's still involved at Wexford. He's the principal of that school, as far as I'm aware, and what they've done to sort of build that and help with that, I think, is brilliant. And it's great to see the underage leagues flourishing, and It's surprising though. The one thing I will say, it is surprising to see them starting back before the League of Ireland, but it starts back. But it's great. It's absolutely brilliant.
I'd imagine that's it has to be due to issues with the scheduling later on in the season, trying to get all the games in, all the weekends in. It's not easy to make all those kind of games come and go at the same time. Just for a quick one, if we look down through the website, I'm just going to bring it up here quickly, if you don't mind. You'll see the divisions there in the under-17s. We've got Bows, Drogheda, Dundalk, Finn Harps, Longford, Shamrock Rovers, and Shells. So only one of them, an established, Bows obviously, two of them, Bows and Shells, an established League of Ireland club. Athlone, DLR, Galway, Mayo FC entered the league this year. St. Pat's were in there, of course, last year, and a few other teams that we might recognise from the senior sides, Peamount, Sligo and Treaty in that group as well. While in Group C, you've got Bray, CK, which is Carlow, Kilkenny, Cove Ramblers, and Kerry FC and Waterford join senior sides, Cork City and Wexford. So there's plenty of geographical spread, plenty of opportunity there for them to all kind of grow through the leagues over the next 4 or 5 years and start to maybe see a first division in the League of Ireland. That would be absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely, and I think that's where we'll get our base from, our players from, and it's great. It's unbelievable to see, and now I know where I can go and find all my fixtures now.
Yeah, well, I spent a long weekend putting all those in. Of course, slightly smaller groups because just smaller numbers in the under-19s, but you'll see a bit more of the senior sides represented there. It's a tough 19 to beat. Yeah,
that's a tough group.
Let me zoom in a little bit there so you can kind of see it better on the screen. But Bows, Dundalk, Finn Harps, Peamount, and Shells in Group B. Athlone, Bray, DLR, Galway United, Shamrock Rovers, and Sligo Rovers. Virtually all senior sides there in the under-19 teams. So reserve teams, effectively, they can play. I think they can. Maybe that's the men's league. They can play under
3 or 4. I think they can play.
Yeah. And then on Group C again, CK United are in there. Cove, Cork, Treaty, Waterford, and Wexford. And of course,
I want to give a mention just when we're talking about underage football.
Okay.
Trish Fennelly was today announced the Cork City under 19 women's manager. Somebody who was a long servant within the League of Ireland and Women's National League as it was, playing with Cork, Peamount, Treaty. Well, she was with Kilkenny, Galway. She's been with many clubs. It's great to see someone who has had experience in the National League go in and go on the coaching side. For me, that's one of the most important things we need to see gradually more and more over the next couple of years.
Yeah, you can see there all the fixtures on the site, all the women's games in there as well over the next couple of days. So keep in track with that. And if you're at games, let us know the scores so we can keep it updated as quickly as possible. The women's calendar there as well has a few international games as well as all of those games taking place, some of the local stuff as well. Get all your information on finalwhistle.ie. There's my little plug for the afternoon or the evening done. Aaron, of course, from the WNL show, will you be in Athlone this weekend? Are you making the trip?
It's 50-50. I'm hoping to make the trip.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If other things kind of fall my way, I will be in Athlone on Saturday evening. It promises to be an exciting evening for both sides. To Chloe and to Madie, who joined us earlier in the program, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us. It's been great. Aaron, we're back. We're up and running for season 4. I know it's only, I think, your second or third season with us. So
second and a half.
Yeah, 2.5 years. We're beginning to fall into our stride here at some stage, but we will be back. Of course, you can get all your information on the Women's National League from either us at finalwhistle.ie or from Aaron's social accounts at the WNL Show, I think across all platforms. Is that right?
Yeah.
Aaron? Perfect. And listen, we will be back with you again every week through the season as we keep up to date with all the happenings across the Women's League of Ireland. It's been a good night to start back with. First blood in the bragging rights, at least Peamount, maybe by default, but 6-5 winner of our first quiz. Will it be 6-5 on Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday.
Time remains to tell. Maybe if it goes to penalties, it might be 6-5. But listen, it's been a great having you back and looking forward to the season ahead. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll chat to you all very soon next week.